Take the Becky hat off.
Good afternoon, everyone. Appreciate y'all joining us for the pre-practice press conference for the Baylor Bears. Please note that the Baylor locker room is now open to the media. We're joined this afternoon, by fifth-year forward Caitlin Bickle and junior guard Sarah Andrews. We will begin with any in-person questions for the student athletes, and if time allows, follow up with any virtual questions. For the in-person questions, please wait until the microphone is handed to you, and please state your name and affiliation. We'll start up front.
Bryce Cherry, Waco Trib. Caitlin, just what's the energy been like this week in practice, and now that y'all are here? I mean, you know, is there a little bit of a just kind of renewed energy? I mean, this is what you play for.
Yeah, definitely. I think a little bit renewed energy. Obviously, we didn't get what we need to get done for Big 12 tournament play, but I think just this week we've been just trying to keep up energy, trying to execute everything that we need to execute. So I think we're definitely excited. Kind of new start. We can go one game at a time and hope that we can get through the tournament.
Pat Edenrob from the Associated Press. Caitlin, can you discuss, I think the team's played 11 top 25 teams this season, and obviously the reason behind a schedule like that is to prepare yourself for March. So can you talk a little bit about how it has prepared you, and despite the ending to the regular, to the conference season not being what you wanted, do you guys feel confident going into this game?
Yeah, I think we've definitely been tested compared to years in the past, at least as long as I've been here. This regular season schedule has definitely been the toughest that we've had. I think it just prepares us because we can see our weaknesses. You know, rather than waiting till tournament play or waiting till you get deeper into schedule, we got to see weaknesses that usually we wouldn't see until conference play or until Big 12 tournament play, or even until you get into this tournament now. So I think that's prepared us in being able to correct those mistakes, or kind of comparing games like, oh, this is kind of what this team has done to us. We didn't do great in that. Like, we need to work on that. We need to grow on that, because other teams may do the same thing, may use that kind of against us. So I think it's been great, and I think it's prepared us.
Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider for Sarah and then Caitlin. How much does your tournament experience help? Just that you've been through it, you've been to, well, you were at home last year, but you were in San Antonio, I guess, the year before. But what does that tournament experience help you?
It's helped me out a lot. I think, going into it, everybody's 0-0. It's win or go home. It's a fresh slate, and it's about playing your best basketball now, honestly, because everybody's 0-0.
Yeah, I think experience, obviously, I think you just don't get as rattled, in my opinion. I think, obviously, freshman year we got to travel a little bit more because it wasn't post-pandemic, things like that. Obviously, we were in the bubble at one point. It's so different, obviously, getting to play on the road. I think everything is so much more exciting. The atmosphere is so much more exciting within March Madness, but I think you can kind of just have a calm presence having that experience.
Sarah, you didn't come in, hooping and hollering. I mean, but my question is this. You guys, we've talked a lot about it, but you guys have been good on the road, beating tough teams and stuff. Obviously, this is a road environment, neutral site for the first game, and then, if you are fortunate enough to play UConn. What's just been the focus like on the road? I mean, why are y'all so much better maybe on the road?
Well, first, I didn't come in hooping and hollering because I didn't want to give y'all that side yet, but it'll come out. But I think we're better on the road because, we know we have to be 10 points better, and, it's a different crowd. We want to send more people home mad that we beat them, and we feed off of that type of energy, and it's just us against anybody else in the gym. So I think we feed off of each other, and that's when we're the most connected.
Derek Smith, Baylor Radio. Start with Sarah, but Caitlin as well. Where are some areas, like when you think back to the beginning of Big 12 season, January, even the fall, that you feel like the team has grown the most, that maybe you're a different team than you were back then?
I think we really showed it in the Texas game, how we can defend, we can play together, move the ball. We play like that every game, and we're locked in and connected and communicating the way we were. I think we can beat anybody in the country.
I'd have to agree with that statement. I think for us, it's just when we're all locked in and on the same page, I think we can be one of the best teams in the country for sure.
Any other questions for the student athletes? All right, Caitlin, Sarah, you guys can head back down to the locker room. Thank you.
you.
Good luck tomorrow.
You told on me. You told them I was
We were just worried.
Which one is it?
Right here.
Okay.
Good afternoon again, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the second half of the Baylor pre-practice press conference. Please welcome Baylor head coach Nikki Collin. As a reminder, for in-person questions, please wait for the microphone to be handed to you, and please state your name and affiliation before asking your question. And for any virtual questions, please use the chat function in Zoom. We'll start right up front.
Bryce Cherry, Waco Trib. Nikki, y'all are here. I mean, what's just kind of the energy been like? And,
We're here.
Yeah, you're here.
We are. We made it here.
You made it. Obviously you haven't, I guess, gone through practice yet, but, just do you like the vibe you're getting from the team?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always good energy when you talk about kind of concept of new beginnings, and everybody at this point is 0-0, and you spend all day yesterday kind of in some ways we did practice here yesterday, not at UConn, but at St. Joe's, but you're watching the men and you're seeing the upsets and kind of the excitement around the tournament. So just in general, it's just such a great time of year if you're a basketball fan.
Derek Smith, Baylor Radio. Coach Nick, you spent some time up here with the Connecticut Sun. Is there any connections that are interesting to you, that are meaningful to you here at UConn?
Well, I don't know if anyone knows this, but Dan, our bus driver, drove us all the time with Datco when I was with the Sun. So that was the first, kind of comfortable feeling. But yeah, I mean, I know I've even had a lot of the UConn fans that are crossover fans with the Sun reach out, and it's such a loyal fan base, and the fans of the Sun tend to be UConn fans as well. So, yeah, I spent a lot of time up in this area, not exactly stores, but, definitely Connecticut's not a real big state.
Pat Eaton-Robb with the Associated Press. Nikki, can you just talk about what practice has been like since, coming off 2 losses, and what you've been concentrating on, and then what the season where you've played 11 top 25 teams has prepared you for this?
First of all, happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Great shirt. Yeah, I mean, I think, we've had these kind of ebbs and flows in our season in terms of stretches of wins and stretches of losses. Obviously played as well as we've played all season at Texas, and then, didn't play as well against West Virginia. Conference tournament, played pretty well for 37 minutes and just not great the last 3, and was happy for Iowa State and Bill Fenley to go on and win that thing. But, I think it's the good part about kind of the NCAA tournament or any postseason tournament is that, we have a double round, double home and home with everyone in our league. And so everybody knows each other well. You're playing teams for the 3rd time when you get to the conference tournament. So the one of the nice things is just playing against a team you haven't played yet, that hasn't scouted you, that's going to look at you differently, that you can exploit different things, and they're used to different things. Trying to evaluate when you play against them, like who plays like us in the SEC. And there really aren't a lot of teams that play super similar to us in the SEC. Maybe Arkansas is as close as anyone, but we're not as much of a 5-out team as Arkansas. So, for us, this game is about ball screen defense. It's about covering up the 3-point line. We certainly have teams in our league. We would compare them most closely to an Oklahoma State, who obviously weren't very successful against this season in terms of their volume of threes, percentage of threes. I mean, Alabama does such a good job making threes, not just taking them. So, I think the idea of us playing in Iowa State and Oklahoma State kind of prepares us for how they can spread you out and how they can make threes. And so, our focus has been very much on defending the 3-point line, knowing personnel, great ball movement. They're a little different than a lot of teams in our league. They switch 1 through 4 pretty much everything. So, we kind of have to dial back to early in the season when we faced a Maryland that switches a lot of screens in terms of, slipping and what works and how to expose, kind of some of their their switching actions, but they've had a really, really good season, and they're so veteran laden with their transfers that they do a really good job sharing the basketball.
Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider. Nikki, Brittany Davis, I think is the name. She's their only double-figure scorer. How much of your defense has to focus on that, or do you try more to contain the other four?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a balance in that. I mean, you certainly don't want to see her go get 30. She's super effective when she's both scoring from three and getting some stuff in transition and playing downhill, and but I think any one of those players, the Barbers, the Nye, Barker, like those kids can all go get double figures. It doesn't mean they average double figures, but they're more than capable. And so you have a balance. Like, Davis is going to take enough shots that she's probably going to get double figures. She's kind of that player that, they pretty much play small ball the entire time. So, times you're mismatched and vice versa. And so she does a good job of getting downhill. She does a good job of getting the three-point shot off when she's being guarded by bigger defenders. And so I think it's a combination. It's Nye is as good as anyone in the country in making threes, but she hasn't made a three off the bounce. And so, being there on the catch, not giving her the catch-and-shoot three, understanding kind of personnel-wise who does what, where, and when, and be able to take away option one, option two, make them play to 3, 4, and 5. And that doesn't mean 3, 4, and 5 players, because I think they have such great balance, but it's like not understanding when they're in actions, what's their primary look in action. You take away the pocket pass, you take away the riser, and then from there, do you sit down and guard them and make them play through your chest? And I think that's going to be key.
Hi, Nikki. I'm Vicki Fulkerson from the New London Day. I was wondering if you could reflect for a minute on your time with the Son and Kurt. That was the job you had right before you went to coach the Dream. Was it a good part of your career that you look back on?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like, I think you don't I've never been a big believer in thinking about, like a 5-year plan type of thing. My husband was a head coach at Arkansas, and when he got let go there, it was kind of this unique time in our lives, our family's lives, to figure out what direction my career was going to go. And so I was lucky enough to work for Carl Semesco for 2 years and to work at Florida Gulf Coast. And, during that time, like, Tom just happened to still be under contract with Arkansas, so it made it really nice. So, Kurt and I worked together at Colorado State when I first got into coaching, and we had always said if there was ever an opportunity to work together that we wanted to. We thought a lot alike. Our brains fire very similarly. Our personalities are oddly very different, but how we think is the same. I tended to be the calm to his crazy a lot of the time. And I always like to say that my job was to stand in the parking lot at Mohegan Sun after the game and explain to the players what he said, not how he said it. And so, I just think it was a really, it was kind of a foundation for me, honestly, being here. I think it was, I never had a dream of coaching in the pros. It was just an opportunity to work with someone that I really respected and liked, and a new experience. And amazingly, that experience led to my first head coaching job. And without that, I'm not here. So, I personally think God has a plan, and you just allow him to lead you. But, I had a great experience in Connecticut. I mean, when I think about the success that team had, it was all laid, those first 2 years, because of starting to really build around Jonquel Jones and Alyssa Thomas and Jazz Thomas and Courtney Williams. Like, that team stuck together and was the team that went to the finals. And I know it's disbanded and Kurt's gone, and so it's kind of a new era here in Connecticut, but that band was together for a long time. And one of my favorite coaching moments, I'll never forget Griner dunking, ironically, on us in a game that we won, and thinking, well, that's a first. That was kind of the first time I'd ever been in a game where we got dunked on, and it was just like, it wasn't a big deal. It was like the ball just went in the other direction. But my first year coaching in Atlanta, when we came back here, Tiffany Hayes hit a half-court shot to win the game, and, you know, watching that celebration from 17 different angles never gets old. Like, Tip basically reposts it every year on the anniversary, and I still get goosebumps. I don't think Kurt liked us very well that year since we swept them that season. But, yeah, I loved being up here. I always said, like, I summered in Connecticut and wintered in Florida, and I had, like, the best snowbird life of everyone on my block in Florida, because Connecticut in the summer and Southwest Florida in the winter doesn't get much better than that. You're welcome.
Any other questions? All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.